I need Flonase. Hey, howdy, hey. How's it going today? Something, movies, films, television. We've all been there. Sitting on our ass, needing something to watch. But before we watch, do we know how to watch?
Hey, sorry I missed your call. I was just calling you back to let you know that I love you and I miss you.
Which on paper sounds like a weird concept, but I think when it comes to movies, film, and television, especially when it comes to a bit more of the esoteric, the macabre, the things that are challenging, the things that have a bit more narrative depth, things that use, or like you can describe with terms like ludonarra dissidence, or, well, that's more so video games. That being said, I think it's really important to know how to watch something. And I think that really starts with sitting the fuck down and shutting the fuck up. Which, obviously, on paper, seems like an easy job. But you go to movies and people just running their gums, just flapping them for no damn reason. They think they're fucking Dave Chappelle out here. And it's cool, but if I wanted to watch Mystery Science Theater 3000, I'd just go on Hulu or Netflix or whatever it's on. That being said, I do think there's a time and a place to talk and chat during movies. That being said, the first time I see the new Batman, I don't need it. I do not need it. And that goes for at home too. Like if we're watching something I've never seen, for both of us, we're not going to be paying attention. You know, we're going to lose information as we talk and as we enjoy our time in company with each other. That being said, I mean, we're here to enjoy the fucking movie, right? Movies are like food. They're best enjoyed with others, but you gotta eat the food to enjoy the food. So consume the media you're watching with your full attention, because you might miss something, whether that be a clue, whether that be like a single shot or frame. Like it's very easy to miss some fucking information in the movie, and then you're like, wow, I had no idea that man was the guy in Knives Out. I'm not gonna spoil it because it's like 3 years old. But yeah. Second thing, where, right? Again, seems easy enough, but it's very hard to find movies these days. And that being said, depending on where you watch the movie, especially when it comes to like foreign films, it can change your movie watching experience drastically. Whether that be slight differences in the subtitles, whether that be a dub, whether that be quality. It can be very hard to watch movies. Now, I'm not going to say be a pirate, but sometimes you do have to be a pirate. Thankfully, things like the Wayback Machine and the Internet Archive allow you to watch more art house and harder to find films completely for free. So definitely take advantage of that when you can. You can always buy them. Buy a DVD. Buy it on Netflix. No, buy it on Netflix. You can rent it on Netflix. If you can't buy a DVD, remember you can always rent DVDs by mail from something like Netflix. Whether that you want to watch like the old seasons of like Crank Yankers or whatever the fuck, you can probably find it on Netflix DVD. Next, as far as where to watch, I think the most important part of watching a movie is gonna be not where or how, right? It's thinking about the who, what, when, where, and why of when a film was created, and getting that greater context to the world that shaped the film, the TV show, or whatever the fuck you're about to watch, whether that be some aggressive ass hentai from 1998, is super important. Because when it comes to more art house, more just genre bending films, you know, even Marvel films, knowing kind of that Iron Man was the first Marvel movie is context that changes how you enjoy other Marvel movies, but also Iron Man, because Iron Man wasn't set up as this kind of greater hyper cinematic universe in the same way like later Iron Man films and later Captain America films and later she Captain that nigga, whatever her fucking name is, you know, Air Force Top Gun bitch, right? And that being said, going into any type of movie or anything like that, it is super important to curb your enthusiasm, right? Because while you do know that like David Lynch wrote Eraserhead, his most spiritual film about his time in Philadelphia or whatever the fuck, kind of measure your expectations is what I'm saying. You don't go into Wendy's being like, damn, let me get 2 filet mignons on wheat buns. No, you don't do that, because those are 2 separate things. You go to Gordon Ramsay's 5-star cuisine, Michelin star, that bitch, whatever the fuck, and that's where you get that. And understanding that there's different levels to film. That being said, no matter what, understanding that who, what, when, where, and why as to where a film is made, how it was made, the context in which it was made, and the greater story that evolved into the story changes how you enjoy the story. Knowing that like Shelley Duvall was like actually like really fucking abused during the making of The Shining changes how you enjoy it, because knowing that something like Come and See is not just like a regular war movie, or like, perfect example, I think a lot of films online can turn into kind of litmus tests for like, oh, how fucked up can you handle this fucked up film, right? And films like Sallow, which is actually a greater commentary on fascism and how fascism affects people, cultures, and all of that, and those ideas are missed because the way a lot of people have been presented Sallow. And I think that's really important, right? And when you look at this big ass box by this nigga Ingmar Bergman, you might ask yourself, why the fuck would somebody pay $300 for this? And that's what I'm talking about when I say understanding context, understanding the who, what, when, where, and why. And this is essential to enjoying films, movies, you know, any type of thing. And when it comes to art, culture, music, this thing is really fucking, this is like a solid 10 pounds, bro. And I'm really just, and now that you got a good look at my E-dick and E-penis, right? And I've really flexed my art house power levels on you. You know I know what I'm talking about, because I don't have a big ass bookshelf that shows whatever the fuck I'm into. No, I use a green screen. That being said, I really think that, you know, movies can be very intimidating when it comes to movies, television, culture in general. But the key aspect is knowing what you're getting into, knowing the culture that things came from, and knowing kind of about that world, like I said before. But knowing about that world is simply not enough. No. It's not enough to simply know and understand that world. But my brain is shitting and farting. Sponsored by McDonald's. A lot of people will watch films simply due to the fact that they are part of the greater cultural moment, and I think that is super, super important. But it's also important to take time and watch films for yourself. Take time and watch television for yourself, because if you're not having fun, what the fuck is the point? That being said, I do think it is important to not simply, damn, that white balance. My white balance is fucked up. Give me a couple seconds while I try to adjust my white balance. Okay, that being said, I do think it is really, really important in terms of like how you watch films, how you spend time with films, to think about how they make you feel. And not just how they make you feel, but in the idea that like, okay, I'm sitting down, I'm watching this, right? It might be uncomfortable. Some films are going to be uncomfortable. They're going to be uneasy. And it's important to challenge yourself to a certain point. Like, there's a certain degree of... Hey, what's up? So, I just would like to say that I had to cut this part out because there was just an error in editing. So I'm like filming and like trimming, putting this bad boy in here. So during this part, I'm pretty much saying challenge yourself, right? Watch films that challenge your taste, challenge your ideas, your perception. That being said, if anything makes you uncomfortable, if anything subjectively, visually makes you uncomfortable, you don't have to sit through it. That being said, also make sure that you branch out. But yeah, if something makes you uncomfortable topically, like whether it be like, because I had Gummo in the background, I had Salo in a lot of and some other shots, right? That's like a challenging movie. If that stuff makes you uncomfortable, you don't have to go watch it. You don't have to, like, if it's making you uneasy, don't watch it just for like clout. I think it is important to know how to watch movies, how to watch, because when you know how to watch, you know how to engage with all art. You know how to engage with a painting. You know how to engage with like a video game or whatever the fuck. You know how to look at and inspect a piece of art and decipher the information around it. And I think watching video essays about a film can be both very helpful and very dangerous because niggas will spoil the film. That being said, I think maybe watch a couple trailers before you go in to watching something, right? Don't get the whole fucking synopsis. Don't read every letterbox, IMDb, RogerEbert.org, whatever the fuck talking about the film, but listen to maybe one or two people talk about the film after you form your own opinion. Because I think in the internet age, in the age of media, in the age of social media, the way we socialize around art and media in general has changed. And I think that changing of the guard and how people have opinions on things, right? But don't let other people's opinions change how you feel. Don't be yourself. Do not let other people influence. But in all seriousness, like, influencers, they're their own people and you are your own person. And I think knowing how to watch something rather than waiting for whoever the fuck, whatever talented YouTuber you want to insert there, talk about something that you enjoy and then forming your own opinion on it afterwards. Don't become that person, because I've been that person in the past. And I think it's so deeply important to watch a piece of media and have the tools to extract your own meaning from it, right? Like, I'm trying to think. I don't know. Extract your own meaning from something like Midsummer. Keep in mind, Ari Aster said that that was like a breakup movie. Going into that film, it changed how I looked at it, right? And it changed how I felt about the film as a whole. And I think that's what I'm trying to get at. That how you watch movies, how you play video games, because let's face it, them Final Fantasies got a lot of fucking cutscenes these days. Chaos. And how you read books, listen to music, changes how you experience it. And it's important to know how. Anywho, Penis, thank you so much for watching, and I do have a couple things to say. I was recently in this video by Lola Sebastian, so please definitely go check it out. She's immensely talented. There were a lot of other talented creators in that video, and shouts out to them. Let's see, what else? Go to my Patreon, go to my TikTok, go listen to my playlist. While Bjork said at one point in time, you shouldn't let poets lie to you, let me lie to you. Let me tell you all the fucking lies and influence you as much as possible. No, actually don't. Only if you're rocking with my vision. Why do I sound like a news anchor? But yeah, if you like what I'm doing, definitely check out what I'm doing on other platforms. It helps me pay the bills. It helps me keep the lights on. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know what I'm gonna say. I would say I'm gonna go play that new Final Fantasy game, but I ain't got it yet. So I don't know. I'm gonna go wash some rice. I've been craving rice. Have a nice one.
Picture, and then because you're so busy doing that, you don't watch very carefully what the program that you're watching is really about. So you become hypnotized. So all that's on TV, it just goes directly into your brain, and you stop judging if it's right or not. So you just swallow and swallow. This is what an Icelandic poet told me once. And I became so scared to television that I always got headaches when I watched it. But then later on, when I got my Danish book on television, I stopped being afraid because I read the truth. And the scientific truth, which is much better. You shouldn't let poets lie to you.